Hey everybody, we're here with the Soul Purpose Project, and I am here interviewing Shauna Bell. Shauna, so great to have you here. Thanks so much for agreeing to do the interview. All right, first question.
You're welcome.
Can you tell us who you are and what you do for work right now?
Um, so Val, coordinator.
Great. How would you define a soul purpose, and what does that mean to you when you hear that?
I guess what that means for me, literally, is like doing um, the purpose of my soul. So for me, that would be something that aligns with my heart and something that comes from the inside out.
Very cool. Um, would you say that you know what your soul purpose is?
Um, Sometimes I get glimpses of it. For me, I know that that's happening when it doesn't feel like I'm working or when I'm standing in the middle of a program and I'm just thinking like, I can't believe I've created this. Or that even that like I get to take a part in something that's coming together.
All right. Um, do you think that everybody has a soul purpose?
Yes.
All right. How did you get clear on what your soul purpose is? What was your process around that?
Um, I have to say that it really just happened for me. I don't think that the position that I'm in is anything that I would have thought. It wasn't something that I'm like knew anything about before it happened for me, and it's kind of just like manifested into its own thing. So yeah, I mean, it definitely just happened for me, and in a lot of ways, it's just about me being open to the experience and expect and receiving like the joy of it.
All right, cool. So you mentioned that you're sometimes kind of knowing what your purpose is. Um, do you think that you're living it on a day-to-day basis? And can you elaborate a little bit more on how you know that you are, if you are?
Yeah, I think I definitely am living it on a day-to-day basis. I think that um, sometimes um, sometimes there's just a lot of behind the scenes stuff that good in program with families. So that's sort of where I feel like if I could just be around the people seeing the benefits all of the time, then that would be like a concrete, like that's when the feeling is concrete for me. But that doesn't mean that it isn't always happening.
All right. Very cool. So, what impact do you feel that there is on one's finances as it relates to living in your soul purpose? Or in other words, do we have to choose between money or passion? What do you think?
Oh man. Um, for me, I guess for me it is a choice, I'm never gonna get rich doing what I'm doing, but but I also don't feel like I guess I also don't feel like there's anything I'd rather be doing. So that generally makes it worth it, and I kind of just trust right now that financially, like all of the reasons that I have debt and all of the reasons that I'm in the financial position that I'm in got me to where I am now, you know? So I don't know, maybe in like 5 years I'll be like, oh, it's not a big deal.
Cool, very interesting. Um, so can you describe a decision or an action you made in the past that you feel like got you on course and is one that you would make again?
Yeah, when I first finished university, I was working at Home Depot, and I um, was given the opportunity to work on call here for the community center, and I just quit on the hope that I would get enough on-call hours, and that left me in a position to be available when my position became available. And you know, it was definitely just like a leap of faith, and everything fell into place.
Wow, cool. Um, so overall, did you feel encouraged or discouraged by your individual community in finding your purpose?
I would have to say encouraged. Um, I think it's tough for a lot of people to understand, you know, the idea of like even an arts degree, you know, or like education that isn't vocational. And you know, it's always like that question of like, what are you going to do, or what are you going to be, and like how much money is that going to make you, you know? And it was definitely hard to explain that that isn't what I was looking for, any of those things. And it feels good now to be able to show people that I didn't need to define any of those things then. It just defined itself.
Right on. So, Shauna,
Um, Go ahead.
no, you please finish.
I was just thinking in terms of like feeling supported. Yeah, I just feels like it just all happened.
Like happen to you instead of you making it happen?
Yeah,
Right on.
yeah, and just all the, you know, all the people that I needed encouragement from, even as far as like clients, being, you know, older than me, and encouraging me that the report that they were that the support that they were receiving was helpful.
So, what's been hard? What are some of the challenges you've encountered in transitioning into what you're doing now?
Um, a lot of just like trusting that, you know, I know what I'm doing and that things are going to work out. And you know, sometimes it's hard not to get like wrapped up in a whole bunch of things at once and just focus on like one small project. You know, for instance, if we're talking about food security for families, it's really hard not to get caught up in how little people have, and the bigger social issue, and um, and just in like grander ways of trying to get people what they need. It can be hard just to focus on and feel satisfied with, well, you know, we helped 3, 5, or 10 families today, you know. And the other thing for me is it's hard not to take the success of a lot of things personally, you know, and to have that same sort of faith, my character or my person, and that things will work out how they're intended to. Um, and a lot of the times for me, it's just like, you know, not getting emotionally attached, and then like not taking stuff home with me.
All right. Well, that's a beautiful segue into the next question. How do you deal with tough times on an emotional level, and what's helped you get through the obstacles that you were faced with?
Recently, a lot of this, what I've been doing is yoga. and I have a counselor who I see at least once a week, if not every other week. And it's important for me to be taking care of the things that I need to take care of, especially being around families and children. There's often lots of stuff that comes up based on my own experience. So just really like knowing and owning that I need to take care of myself in order to have anything to offer. And for me, that just means like learning about myself and learning what my own needs are, even as far as like, healthy eating habits go, and just looking at behaviors that I want to model for people, and looking at ways to just be present for people so that when they come into the space that I can hold space for them.
Great answer. So what's different about who you are now that you're living your purpose versus who you were when you weren't?
You know, it's just a way of, being able to relate to myself, or even other people. It's like this feeling of not having anything to hide. And when I'm living in my purpose, like I can look people in the eyes and I can feel comfortable just being, who I am, and knowing, that at the end of each day that I've stood up for something that I believe in, or contributed to something that I believe in. And it's making it easier to change the dialogue with myself, and start to take some credit for myself and take myself out of this my ego of not being good enough.
Awesome. So how has the impact that you're making on the world changed since you started living your soul purpose?
I think the change is definitely a matter of giving to rather than taking from.
Wow. So can you explain your perspective on the relationship between living in your soul's purpose and work? Do you feel that they can be separate?
I don't know if, like, for me, I don't think that they could be. I guess, so I'll just talk about that. Um, like, I could see how that might be possible for some people, but for me, it's not worth it. I'd rather not just be doing anything that doesn't align with my, like morality. And really, I think the most important thing to me is to be making a difference. And I'd rather spend, like, I'd like to spend as least time as possible not contributing to that difference, or contributing to the difference. So for me, like, if I were working at a job that made money and then I was doing something to make a difference, like, it just wouldn't feel as much of an impact.
Gotcha. So what would you say are the ingredients for success, or advice you would give anyone who's exploring their soul purpose or seeking it?
Yeah, for me, it's just about trusting my intuition, and, I think also believing that we deserve to do what we love, and it's just about stepping into the fear, if there's like the fear of financial security, or fear of what that might look like. It's my experience that when I step into those fears, like, things work out, but when I avoid them, they don't. And, somebody just mentioned an analogy today about rocking the boat to find calm waters, and that just really makes a lot of sense to me. It's just like, the minute we identify with what we need, it becomes ours by just like stepping into it. And I think it seems to be the natural inclination to avoid. And so for me, it's just like doing the opposite, of what I think.
Wicked. So, do you have a message or finishing thoughts for anyone watching this video?
Um, yeah, like I said, the experience for me has been about learning to trust myself and learning to trust that intuitive voice, and I would even call like that part of me my soul, or like my guiding force, and just doing whatever it takes to remain in line with that, and just like stepping out of the way, and it's really hard a lot of the time, but anytime I can get out of the way enough to sort of let that like guiding light shine, as long as I can even see the direction it's pointing, I can fumble my way there. I might not stay in the light the whole time, but just trusting ourselves, and that we know what we need.
Wow, great message. Thank you so much, Shauna. So, I think the video cut out a little bit in the beginning there. Can you tell us again where you're working and where we can find you?
Yeah, so I work at the Fernwood Community Center, and I'm the Family Programs Coordinator.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Shauna. So appreciated.
You're welcome.